Hi there, Chingir here, and today is a very interesting topic. I want to talk about this question that you always hear: What are your salary expectations? Very sensitive topic for many people to talk about money. Doesn't have to be awkward. The more experience you get talking about this, the more natural it will become, and you just need to understand some fundamental principles again. And I hope some of the thoughts that I will share with you will be helpful. Everywhere, number one, everyone will tell you study the market, understand the job market, where the market is. What does studying the market means? It doesn't mean to go to all these websites, aggregators. They show you all the data points, right? I don't know where they pull the data. It cannot be very accurate. Study the market is find the peers and network with peers and drink a lot of coffee, have a lot of coffee chats with them and talk to them. Who are the people who are above your level, who can be like your seniors or mentors, and they can advise you and tell you like, oh, this is right now, like this is where I've been 2 years ago. This is what people in this level are making right now, and this is something you can claim right now. People at your level, this is what I'm making at this organization in this industry, and this is something you can claim right now, right? And even with juniors, people say like, oh, you know what? Well, actually, I have a good relationship with my boss, and this is what they're making, right? And you never know where you're gonna get these data points, but this is what I mean by when I mean study the market. And the most important thing, the most uh, I would say like optimal source of their data is us, is recruiters, people who are in the trenches of talent, right? We have, first of all, we have the access to the data points from the benchmarking resource of data that we have. The ones that we use, we call it Radford data. And it's working together with the job leveling system, right? Which is also a factor that we're counting in when we calculate this salary equation, right? So make friends with recruiters, as many as you can. Again, uh, busy people, we all running very, very busy lives, right? Or our lives are running us. But collect these data points from the market. Hey, you're a recruiter, you're very experienced, you're great, you've been hiring for my role for many years. Tell me like where the market is for my level, and my level is, I assume, this, but I'd be open for a critique, right? Which brings me to the next point. Again, job leveling. Understand it very, very well. Do your research on the Radford levels. I talk about this all the time, right? Understand adequately where my level is. Am I an entry level? Am I developing? Am I career? Am I advanced? Am I an expert? Am I principal, right? Or like the same thing for the management. It's very important because this is a factor that's dictating the compensation decision, right? Another factor in the compensation decision will be geo, right? Like where are you located geographically? Why? Because of cost of living, right? Right now, I can tell you for many organizations, again, I cannot speak for many, but I speak for us. We're using Toronto as a sort of benchmark, right, for whole Canada. And I know that many companies in tech are normally doing that way. Many companies in the US, for example, they go after Canadian talent because normally in the US you would have the same numbers but different currency, so which makes Canadian talent cheaper, right? So that's also something to consider. And of course, another factor, a very important factor, is what's the budget. That's why it's always advised, like, hey, you should be talking, like, well, I should be asking, what's the budget? Um, I can tell you yes and no. Yes, do ask this question. Um, if the information is there, if the talent acquisition partner internally in the company knows what the budget is for the role, they would be happy to inform you in order to realign you. But also, we not always know. We don't always know the budget. Different scenarios for you. Number one, for example, the role is fresh. I just connected with the compensation person, and I'm still waiting for the benchmarking data. I don't have the compensation data yet, but I'm already recruiting, and I'm recruiting right now. Just touching the market, trying to understand where the market is right now, collecting my data points from the markets. Scenario number two, the role is super, super unique. It's a very unique skill set, very hard to find. The business says find me this person. I don't care how much we need to pay them. I'll pay them. We'll pay them when we need this. It's a mission critical role. That's a scenario, right? Scenario number three, if again, for because of some chain of events, right? We were not even looking for it, but we stumbled upon a person, and they bring this unicorny profile, that unicorny skill set, and we say like, hey, this is not like we're hiring them for this role, but that person can do so much more, so they can do beyond this role. And yeah, we can the budget will be extended, right? There's we can all like not I wouldn't say we like, but there are many scenarios where the company is able to find more money if they really like the person and they can see the value that the person brings to the table. Your job is to communicate that, to create a perception that you are that person. And I can probably share with you another concept within corporate, very, very familiar to many, 5Xer or 10Xer, right? That's the person whose presence elevating others across the organization. Their impact is so palpable, so tangible. They do not just do their role, and they're not just only top performing in their role. They rise. It's like they're like a rising tide. They rise all ships. You cannot put a dollar value on that, right? Like these people with this such a unique set of DNA, it's very hard to find, right? But they exist, and yeah, we call them people call them in recruitment unicorns or purple squirrels or what have you, what kind of animals have you, right? But for these kind of scenarios, the budget will be extended. You can communicate that the number will change, that initially that's your expectation, and the number will change throughout the conversation, because very often it can, and it doesn't mean that necessarily like, hey, I'm gonna claim this number right now, I'm gonna ask for more later when I know that you're offering me. That doesn't signal integrity, and it doesn't signal good business. On the opposite side, like there are scenarios sometimes when you say like, hey, you know what, like yeah, my level, I thought the number would be 150, but I understand the role, and it's actually the smaller scope of the role. I'm gonna be okay with 120, and I can do the job, and I can do it more efficiently because I'm a higher level, but I'm gonna be doing something else in my free time. That's just a scenario, but that's something to entertain, right? So understand the scope of the role throughout the conversations, right? As you progress through the interview process, that will help you. Using your past compensation as a data point. So that's very interesting. Again, the question, should I disclose my past compensation? First of all, again, there is no should, right? I'm not going to prescribe anything to you, but you need to have a depth of understanding of the process. Yes and no. There are so many different scenarios. You were underpaid, you were overpaid, you were on the market. Let's say you were underpaid. Well, probably not the best idea to communicate that number, because again, also, who are you? Do you understand that you were underpaid, or you don't, and that's the number that you're claiming? Right? Or sometimes you were underpaid and you understand that you're underpaid, and obviously you're asking for much more, which is adequate to your level of skill and experience. That's a different scenario. If you were overpaid, for example, you worked for the US company, and right now you're looking for an opportunity in Canada, right? You understand like, hey, no one's gonna pay me US salary, and I understand that. That's cool, right? Be transparent about it. Again, transparency and research is a deadly combination. It can get you places, right? Communicate with transparency, integrity, and do your research. Another scenario of when you would be overpaid is you worked within a company, and again, everything was great. You got to a high title, high salary, and you would say, I don't know, there was a layoff, for example. I'm telling you like a real life scenario because that's a situation that I've experienced. And yes, on paper, the person is clearly overqualified, and instantly the person of this level, I would say, they would claim this salary. But no, I'm curious, we're having a conversation, and the person tells me like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't care about anything. I don't care about title. I don't care about comp, right? I care about doing, I'm already at that level. I'm care about doing interesting work with interesting people and making an impact and feeling good about myself, right? And also balance is important for me. And that's totally cool. as long as you communicate thoughtfully and you project with authenticity your true intention and you're fully aligned. And of course, at the end of the day, yes, we progressed further, but this person picked an opportunity elsewhere, which was a higher level position, which is totally cool as well. But communication was on point, right? The person understood. And then scenario number three, when you're on the market, right? When you're on the market, again, everything comes down to your research, right? So you can say like, hey, I done my research, talk to my peers. This is the median, right? It's never a number, right? My peers right now making like 110 to 130, right? And yes, I would be excited to sign an offer like at the higher range, but yeah, like I'm flexible right now. Like I'm gonna be looking at the whole holistic equation, right? Because you understand that there are so many things that go into the offer. It's a base pay, it's a bonus, there is an equity. If there's no equity, maybe there's some kind of long-term incentive plan, vacation, PTO days, right? How many different perks and benefits? What are the benefits? And on the every single piece, there is at a different company there could be a room for negotiation, right? So it's always a conversation, and of course it makes sense to have a conversation when you know that the company wants you, and that's the offer stage. But be clear, be transparent, communicate what you want, right? And it's again, it's gonna come down to your personal experience, who you are, what do you have to offer, how much knowledge do you have about what's going on around you, how much knowledge do you have and self-awareness about what you carry within yourself, and this particular organization you're having conversation with. Interaction, transparent conversation, right? And yeah, I hope this helps you. There are just some thoughts. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm not gonna tell you like you should do this and this will happen, because this is a complete garbage, right? But these are the fundamental principles, some of the things that you can look into, investigate your own life, investigate the opportunity in front of you, and say like, okay, this is probably the smartest way to navigate it. Be smart about it. All the best.